the vampire they buried alive. They thought it was just another plague coffin until they pried it open. Wood creaked, nails scratched violently from inside. Muffled screams bled through the boards. Inside was a woman, her eyes still open, her teeth filed to points. And the claw marks on the lid proved one thing. She had been alive when they buried her. A priest's shaky handwriting survives in a single fragment. She is not dead. She watches me still. This is the story of the vampire they buried alive. In 1672, grave diggers in rural Wallachia uncovered a coffin unlike anything they had ever seen. It wasn't buried in the churchyard. It was hidden beneath a crossroads, sealed in iron and bound with chains etched in holy symbols. When they pried it open, the truth clawed its way out. The inside of the coffin lid was shredded with marks. Her fingers, worn down to bone, had been bloodied from scratching, and her lips were torn, as if she had been biting at the wood, desperate for air. The villagers called her the Lady in Red. Some claimed she had been a noblewoman, condemned for drinking the blood of her servants. But her name never appears in the records. Every trace of it was deliberately erased. One diary line, scrawled in shaky ink, hints at what the others dared not say. Her eyes were red when the earth took her. She looked at me still. And yet, the report insists she was still moving, even as the coffin was lowered into the ground. In the years that followed, whispers of her name spread across the countryside, but the church made sure no record survived. Parish ledgers from that year are slashed with ink, entire pages torn away. The only surviving notes come from a single priest who defied his orders. He wrote that the woman was accused of drinking blood, of keeping her beauty, while others wasted away in plague. But the strangest detail is this. He claimed her body did not decay. He wrote that her skin was pale, unbroken, her lips red, as if she had just drawn breath. When the bishop demanded her name be stricken from every record, the priest obeyed. Yet in the margins of his diary, he left a final warning, 3 words that survived the purge. She still watches. And though her name was erased, the legend refused to die. For decades after her burial, the villagers of Wallachia lived in fear of the Lady in Red. Farmers claimed to see a pale figure drifting through the fields at night, her gown dragging in the mud, her eyes burning faintly in the dark. She left no footprints, yet the ground behind her was wet with blood. Livestock were found drained, their bodies collapsed like sacks of skin. Children whispered of a woman who scratched at windows with bone-white fingers, begging to be let inside. Travelers told of being followed on forest roads, hearing a woman's voice humming a lullaby just behind them, only to find no one there. Some swore she brought sickness wherever she appeared. Entire villages reported fevers after her passing, as though she carried the plague with her still. Others whispered that she could not cross running water, and so villagers would sleep beside rivers for safety. By the 18th century, the stories had spread far beyond Wallachia. In Poland, in Hungary, even as far as Venice, the same figure appeared. A veiled woman in crimson, watching from graveyards and crossroads. And then came a chilling rumor that she had been captured, that hunters, backed by the church, had dragged her into a crypt, bound in iron, and sealed her away where no sunlight could reach. But if that story is true, it means she never died at all. In the late 19th century, a set of files surfaced that should never have existed. Buried in the archives of the Vatican was a folder marked only with a symbol, a circle of thorns drawn in red ink. Inside were sketches of a woman bound in chains. Her eyes glowed red, her hair fell in tangled waves, and her face, though centuries should have passed, looked young and unaged. The notes alongside the drawings were heavily redacted. Whole lines were slashed with black ink. But what remains is enough. One entry reads, "She has not aged. She does not breathe. Yet still she moves." Another, written in a shaky Latin hand, "The lady persists. She is neither living nor dead." And the final page carries only 2 words, scrawled across the parchment like a warning, "Still watching." If these records are true, then the lady in red was never destroyed. She was buried, erased, and chained beneath holy ground, but never killed. And that raises a question few dare to ask. If she still moves, if she still watches, could she still be alive, sealed somewhere beneath Rome? The Church has spent centuries burying her story, striking her name from every page. Yet the evidence remains, whispered through folklore, hidden in files, etched in the scars of her coffin. And if she is still alive, waiting in the dark, then we have not seen the last of the vampire they buried alive. But this is only one secret, because the Vatican's archives hold more than her story. Entire wars, hidden queens, and creatures older than Dracula himself. If you want to see what else they tried to hide, watch this next. Lit Reads now has channel memberships. If you'd like to support the channel and unlock exclusive perks, like loyalty badges and a place among the acknowledged, you can join the Reader's Circle below. It's a small way to help keep the library doors open, links in the description.